Welcome. Today's Wednesday, April 26, 2023. Man, this year's going by fast. We're all going to be in May next week. How you guys feeling about it?
Crazy.
Yeah, great. Francis happy about it. That's cool. Okay, great. Awesome. Well, welcome to our second meeting of the month. So, our MVP, to build careers worth having, businesses worth owning, business worth owning, lives worth living, experiences worth giving, legacies worth leaving. To be the real estate company of choice for agents and their customers. God, family, then business. Win-win or no deal, integrity to do the right thing, customers always come first, commitment in all things, communication, seek first, understand, creativity, ideas before results, teamwork, together everyone achieves more. Trust starts with honesty, equity, opportunity for all, success results through people. A technology company that provides a real estate platform that our agents, buyers, and sellers prefer. Keller Williams things like top producer, acts like training consultant, and focuses all the activities on service, productivity, and profitability. All right, guys, we are here at my favorite part of our event titled
Name that price.
I need a little louder. What'd you say?
Name that price.
Name that price. Yes, America's favorite game show. Had a conversation with Steve Harvey, thinking about working together with it. So we'll see how that goes. All right. So I'm your host, Cameron Glory. Today, my special guest is Danny. So Danny, let's see who our two contestants on our favorite game show titled.
Name that price.
All right. So who's our first contestant? Look at your tickets. Get your all tickets.
Don't you dare. Okay.
Now we're definitely gonna pull her name out and said it.
That's true.
823-3767.
You shut up. You know. That's freaking set up. I don't.
Oh, shit.
Oh my God! Sorry, sorry. I'm so sorry. Surprise! Look, we love surprise. Yeah.
It's John next.
All right, who's our second contestant?
Okay. Ending last three numbers 771.
7-1. So sorry, Andy left.
Okay, let's move. No, it's actually Andy this time.
Oh.
Yes, but he stepped out. So who's gonna be our second contestant?
Let me pull John real quick. Okay, last three 764.
Oh my God.
Oh. I can tell how excited you were when you said, "Oh my God!" Right? Yes, I love it. I love it.
If you haven't already gotten up, you'll never be up there. Get used to it. The whole circle.
It goes.
Yeah, it actually says "pick me" at the top there. Yes. I don't know. Someone's telling me something. I don't know. All right. So today's property. It is a beautiful 3-bedroom, 3.5 bath home, 1722 square feet. And what city is this located in?
Chino Hills.
Exactly. Located in Chino Hills. Home was built in 1987. As you see, it is a 2-story home. It was on the market for 65 days. Closed very recently, within the last few weeks. So 3-bedroom, 3.5 bath, 1722 square feet, 2-story, 2-car attached garage, built in 1987. All right, well, we're gonna go with you first. Okay, lot size is 7,630 for lot size. And there's no pool. If there was a pool, we'd have a picture of it. So this is your thinking. 65 days. We're going to mark for 65 days. Closed recently, closed in the last few weeks.
Eight, 9, 5, 9.
Sorry. 890. Okay. All right, perfect. All right, Pearl. So it is a 3-bedroom, 2.5 bath, 1722 square feet, 7,630 lot size, built 1987. It was an escrow, closed in 65 days.
865.
865. All right, perfect. All right, so I want to hear 3 guesses from the audience. Rashawn,
900.
900.
901.
From the audience in this direction? No, thank you.
138.
938,
Look
okay.
it up on the MLS.
Yeah. I mean, that was pretty close number, right? 938, that's okay.
9:15.
915. All right, perfect.
Yeah, you got 3, let's end this.
All right, so we got 3 now. All right, so the sold price was 900,000. So for John got the price, and Melissa, you were super close to it, only 5,000 off. So congratulations to our winner, Melissa. Yeah, so Melissa, I am going to pay for you to have 1 month's worth of social media coaching. So I'm messaging you what you got you.
Oh, wow.
And you know, on my name, that price came, no one leaves with empty-handed. Pearl. Yes, here you go. Get your phone for some money. Yeah, congratulations. Yeah. Want to show people what the mug says? Want to show? Show them the mug. Show them the pretty mug. You guys want to see what it says?
Gene goes here.
So.
There you go. Everything that says turns to soul. Absolutely. Keep you motivated and you have your hot coffee in there, right? Yes. All right. So congratulations to our April newcomers. We have Willie, we have Betsy, we have Tracy. Hey Tracy, right back over there. We have David. What's up, David? We have another David. We have Lisa and we have Shirley. So let's give it up for our April newcomers. All right, bucket fill. So this opportunity for you to fill someone's bucket. What do I mean by fill someone's bucket? You're showing appreciation. Maybe you had a great conversation with someone, maybe someone helped you out of the jam, or maybe someone motivates you to take some action. So I want to hear from 3 bucket fills. So who's gonna start? All right, Amy.
The listing. Will be good here just over a month and have a listing. Oh.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Like to
All right, let's look.
hold on to that, and it's only because of the help of this team from you, from Tina, from the title company, so I could have done it without.
Appreciate that. All right, and one more bucket fill.
And I do it for, people, maybe Sunshine, Steve here, and, Tom, Monarchs here. Yeah, all of you voted, I mean, she kind of started it all and then gave me a little motivation when I just felt like, not very good. And then you just went in and filled my motivation even bigger. Where that day I went out and door knocked and came back with a potential person who wanted to list and, listing presentation, so. And then Tom reached out to me and helped me out. The last question that I had for my, listing appointment and, there was some discrepancies that we can figure out. He went on there real quick and searched it for me and gave me my, property profile. Very, very quick, so. If you guys ever need help, they're such a good team.
I love it. Thank you all for your bucket fills. Yes. All right, picture listing. So this is an opportunity for you to pitch a listing. Listing you might have just taken, a listing that may still be on the market, or some seller has told you, hey, if I got this price, I'll sell my house. So I want to hear 3 pitch my listing. So who wants to start first? Am I in a room full of realtors? What's going on here? Don't you guys help people buy and sell houses? What's going on? All right, I will go with Rashawn because she's in purple.
I have a listing, it's on coming soon. For May 8th,
My birthday.
1,176 square feet, 3 bedroom, 2 bath. The garage has been converted in Los Angeles, it's listed at 685. Everything is fully remodeled, kitchen, bathrooms, new plumbing, new hardwood floors, new electrical boxes, and the client is super motivated.
I love that.
I
And
mean, it's selling.
and Rashawn, is this your first listing?
The first one, I do have some coming soon. One in Ladera Heights, we're still trying to round out price. It is a duplex, located in the Morningside Park area. And, let's see. There's one in Yucca Valley, and I think we may hold back on the property that's over by Crypto Stadium, only because I told him the Clipper Stadium is coming and he's in a really good position with that one. So
Nice.
That's what I have.
So I can't really count very well. How many listings in this pitch right now?
4
4 listings. And how many years have been in business?
months.
The same, right? As long as you're talking to people and providing value to them, that's not.
Yeah, and that the client with the portfolio was the notary on a deal I just closed. And he kept trying to figure out how did I find a house? And I told him that I was an expert in the area, which was not really the truth, but. I was looking to buy or sell, and he said I am actually, and so he gave me all the addresses as he was signing the documents. And we've been in contact, and actually his dad is his partner, so we actually had a meeting day before yesterday. And his dad hired me, and he's saying to me on the phone for like maybe 3 minutes. A super cute sunshine zone.
All right, let's have your hand up.
Yes, I have a listing in Lake Elsinore going for 499. The lot size is over 19,000. The square footage is like 1420.
Nice.
3 bedroom, 2 bath.
So we'll definitely keep us, both of you guys definitely need source with them. Do we have one more? Do we have one more? I know Sunshine Fish is like 4,000 of them, but do we have one more? Going once? Going twice? All right, we are moving on. All right, so guys, if you have not joined our Facebook Keto Vision exclusive page, make sure to join it. We provide a lot of great updates, let you guys know about classes, different events, birthdays, anniversaries. Also a place where agents will post there if they need some type of open house coverage, or a place where you can ask for maybe like a plumber, home inspector, photographer recommendations. So definitely make sure you guys join the Keto Vision exclusive page. All right, our standard procedure. So when you guys have questions, make sure that we're all following this procedure. Email first, right? Because obviously a lot of us are doing other things in leadership, right? So make sure that you email us first, whether it's a question for myself or for Amy or for Mo. Make sure that you are CCing all of us on it. Because just for some reason, maybe someone's media out of the office, at least one of us got to see the message, right? Because we want clear communication. Does that make sense? That makes sense? Yes? All right, excellent. All right, congratulations to our royalty cappers. We have James. Yeah, so let's get up for royalty capper. All right, so let's give it up for who got paid. So yeah.
That in 3D or? I see it double.
Yeah, this is so you just want to make sure you guys are paying attention, right? So it hurts, you gotta pass the test. Awesome. Love it. Yes. All right, now we'll move on to our March production rankings. All right, so $1 million a month, give it up for Mr. Howard. I would say Howard's probably the second best dressed realtor in our office. Did you guys think who's number 1?
Who are you?
All right, thank you. I had to say it to you. All right, monthly home run. Let's get up for a monthly home run. All right, top performer for March 2023. Let's give it up for him. Hey, there's James right there. Yes. All right, so let's go for our top teams. We have Team Crestwood, Fusion Home Group, and Res Wealthy Team. Our year-to-date production rankings. All right, so our top performers year to date, let's give it up for them. All right, top team for our groups, we have KW Vision, Commercial, Team Crestwood, and Fusion Home Group. All right. All right, so these are the trainings and classes that we have. Obviously, you guys know we have classes on Zoom, also in-house. So definitely make sure you guys are taking note of that. And we also, if you guys have not added us on Instagram for television channels, make sure to do that. I do post daily of all the classes that we offer. So make sure you guys are subscribed to that as well. All right, so we're going to have a special class this coming Friday. It's actually be with Team Roach. Mr. Tom and Brandon Roach. So you guys want to talk a little bit about what you guys are sharing on Friday?
Yeah, so we're gonna be sharing like 3 takeaways that you can take right now to probably get a new listing. Not just listing side, but also buy side. Definitely want to make sure that you guys are farming in specific areas and the correct areas, so we get some return on investment if you're gonna be spending money on door hangers or flyers and any of that. Want to make sure that you guys are walking away with something to put some money in you guys' pocket.
I love that. We gotta give it up for that. Let's yeah, so we're gonna make sure you put on your calendar for this coming Friday. And then also, you guys are providing lunch, right? Because you know, realtors, we're hungry all the time. So you guys can get lunch. Yes.
It's important.
All right, perfect. So Tuesday, May 2nd, we're gonna be doing our headshot day. So definitely make sure if your headshot is over 3 years old, definitely make sure to make time to get your new headshots, all right? Because nothing's more, I mean, you don't want your clients to come up to you and look at you and take like kind of like a double look, like who's this, right? So make sure you guys are updating your headshots. That's gonna be Tuesday, May 2nd, the next Tuesday. All right, so this is some of our community max coaching, our free training that we do have. It's gonna be streamed here in the office. So Wednesday, May 3rd, we're going to talk about short sales. You know, and also the 10 steps to master them. So definitely make sure you make time on your calendar for that. And then on should be Thursday, May 4th, it's gonna be how to build a buyer business in 90 days. You know, so it's also definitely a great class to attend. Further math classes that we have, May 9th, we have 4 easy questions to find the motivated. So questions to ask how you find motivated buyers and motivated sellers. And then May 11th, we have how to create 100K plus and gross commission income in 12 weeks. Who wants to make $100,000 in 12 weeks? Every hand should be up. How many? You guys just don't like money? It's like, oh no, that's way too much for me. Yes, then make sure that your calendar as well. We're being streaming it here in the Next Market Center. All right, May 10th, I'm gonna be doing a class. How to 7 easy steps to take 10 listings a month. Sounds crazy, right? But it's literally 7 easy steps to take 10 listings a month. So. Also, Wednesday, May 10th, we're going to have a Mother's Day lunch. So it's that Sunday before Mother's Day, great opportunity for us to celebrate all the amazing mothers that we get to partner with in your business. So definitely make sure you attend. And if you're not a mother, still attend too, because you'll have lunch. All right, Red Day is closely approaching. So we're going to be getting the event together. We're working on that. We have it done now. So definitely still have time to order your shirts for Red Day. If you guys are new to come win, Red Day is an opportunity for us to give back to the community, a way for us to thank the community that we have the honor and privilege of serving. So Red Day, we'll have more information on that as we get closer to it. All right, so this is gonna be our very first time participating in the Steve McQueen Car Show. It's going to be Sunday, June 4th. This car show, I would say thousands of people attend this car show on a yearly basis. It's a great opportunity to get out in front of people, introduce yourselves. So if you have not signed up for it yet, we'll definitely be reaching out to you guys. It's a great opportunity. Again, like I said, it's a way for you to get into the community, get to know people. And like I said, thousands of people show up to the event. This is a big deal. So definitely make sure if you have time, take the opportunity to sign up and get in front of thousands of people. All right, Mega Agent Camp, that is coming up in August. And Mega Agent Camp is a great opportunity for you to network with top agents as well as attend different breakout sessions, also get to hear from Gary Keller himself as he provides great value about what's going on in the market and so much more.
Can I say something?
Yes, you can.
So they actually offered payment plans this year. So instead of paying it in bulk, you can stretch it out a little bit if that helps. It's a great event.
Absolutely. And then we can get some more information about how that payment plan is structured.
Yeah, I mean, for the next time.
Excellent. Yeah, so we'll do that. So you guys have an idea of what the payment plan looks like, details? Yeah, absolutely. All right, make sure you guys are following the TCPA. Making sure you guys are not calling people and do not call this, because the last thing you want to do is get sued, because that's really expensive. So make sure you're calling people that you have permission to call. Very important. All right. Now we go over to the real estate market update. So, all right. So we're looking at San Bernardino County active inventory list year over year, right? And we're looking at the blue line here, which represents 2023. Where is it trending in terms of listing inventory? Is it going up? Is it going down? Is it staying neutral? What's it doing? Going down. So when it's going down, what does that mean to you guys? When you see listed inventory going down, what does that mean? What is it? Okay, so listed inventory is going down. Does it mean that we have more available houses or less available houses? Less, absolutely, right? So if you're talking to your seller and your seller's thinking, oh no, man, I should wait to sell my house. You show them the scrap, let them know, listen, inventory is low. This is the best opportunity you have to get the most amount for your money because you're dealing with less competition, right? So if you look at this graph demand year over year, and if we're looking at the blue line there, where is that trending? Up, which means buyer demand is doing, it's increasing, right? Which means that there's more buyers out there for homes for your sellers that are thinking about selling their house, right? So this is also another graph that shows, like, listen, you know, buyer demand. That means that if there's more buyers in the market, you have a higher chance of getting more value for your home, right? Now, if you look at the expected market time year over year, right, and if we're looking at this blue line here, between 40 and 60, what type of market would that show that we're in? If you're looking at this graph here between 40 and 60, what type of market are we in? We're a hot seller's market, absolutely. I want you guys to use these graphs when you're talking to sellers because yes, you can do all this all day, but when you actually have data and facts behind it, it makes your case so much stronger, right? So it shows that we're in a hot seller's market, which typically means that homes are selling faster and they're selling for more money, you know, and typically sellers get to determine their terms, right? Now, if we're looking at the luxury market, in San Bernardino County, luxury is considered anything at $800,000 or more. Now, if we're looking at the blue line here of 2023 for active inventory, what direction is that going? Going up, right? So what we're seeing is that more luxury properties are actually coming up in San Bernardino County. Now, at the previous dollar point, what were we looking at? What was that direction for the active inventory for normal price homes?
Going down.
That was going down, but the inventory for luxury is going up, right? So if we look at demand year over year, what's going on with demand? If we're looking at the 2023. Right. So demand for luxury homes is going up and the inventory for luxury homes is going up, right? Now, if we look at expected market time, if we're looking at the blue line there, what type of market we consider for luxury homes? You know, if we're looking at this blue line here, what type of market we consider to be in?
Balance.
Balance. Exactly, right? So if you're in San Bernardino County, your home has to be $800,000 or more, you're considered within a balanced market. Now, can you explain to me what a balanced market indicates?
Doesn't favor anyone.
Exactly, it doesn't favor anyone, right? Because it's balanced, right? You got buyers, you got sellers, right? So if you do have clients that have homes that are $800,000 or more, they're considered within a balanced market, which means that, like Brian was saying, you know, it doesn't really favor the buyer or the seller, both, right?
Well, the thing about that, right, pricing becomes that much more important.
Very important, absolutely, for sure. It's funny you say that. I actually was talking to one of our agents, Tina Yang, the other Tina, right? Yes, I was talking to her yesterday. Yes, and she was telling me that her client's interested in a property in Riverside. This was for 1.2. In Riverside, 1.2. I'm like, does this house have a moat? This house, it's over 6,000 square feet, like what's going on here, right? And this home has literally been on the market for over almost half a year. But our clients absolutely love this house. So I'm like, you know what, Tina, you probably have a great chance of offering whatever you want in this house. Been in the market for almost half a year, right? Yeah. All right, so obviously you guys know that at the end of our meetings, you guys always get the recording and get this information. I would definitely advise you guys to really take this information and share it with your clients, share it with your database. You know, like use this information that we're sharing with you guys to your advantage, right? Because again, this speaks volume. This does a lot more than that does. Does that make sense? All right, perfect.
It's a show me market, not a tell me market.
Absolutely, for sure. And I mean, especially here in Southern California, Brian can attest to it, but people seem to be more skeptical here than when you go to like the Midwest and you go to the East Coast. It seems that way. And you know, Francis can also change what he's shake his head. Yes. So does anyone have any other questions regarding the map I showed you before we move on to Mr. John with his mortgage tips? We're good?
Bring John on. He was up there right here.
Thank you, man.
Want to keep John waiting?
Thanks, man.
Absolutely. I think there's, yes, right, there's just one.
Okay.
So, Karen just talked about the charts and graphs, so I happen to have them upload one as well, so. And it's gonna be a little difficult to see, but it touches basically on what he said. So these are two housing price indexes. One is from Case-Shiller, one's from FHFA, the Federal Housing Finance Authority. So I know it's difficult to see, but this one of those is April of 22. I can't even see it. One of them is April of 2020. I'm sorry. And as you can see, as it comes up and up where the arrows are on each of those graphs, that's April of 22. Okay. April of 22 is where I think we can all agree the market peaked at that time.
Sure.
So this is what I talked about this in my video yesterday and said I had this chart. And it goes back to people thinking that we're going to be in a housing crash, that we're in a bubble, the market's crashing. So what this graph tells, with each of these, they're different, but they just have different data, but they pretty much say the same thing. They level off after April of 22, right? So that one on top dropped a little bit. So as you say, it's a show me versus a tell me. This right here, the data is clear. We're not dropping, we're not crashing. This is important information to share with your seller. So I want to give you two sides of this. If you're talking to a seller who wants to list a property, this is, and what Kiera showed as well, this is great data to show, to say, look, the market's not crashing. We're still in a pretty good market. If you're going to sell, we're in low inventory right now. This is the best time to do it going into spring and summer. Now, flip side, if you're talking to buyers, guess what? It's the same exact conversation. For a buyer, if you want to tell them, you want to get out there and buy, because as the inventory continues to go down, as rates continue to go down, these prices are going to spike again. They're gonna spike in the next few months when rates go down. So I bring that up just because it's the same conversation with a buyer and a seller. It's just in how you approach the conversation. So that was what I wanted to say about this. Now, it leads me to a couple of other things. I always like to share the IVAR numbers, Inland Valley Association of Realtors. And I think this just kind of backs that up there. So I'm going to take Chino, City of Chino. And this is for March. The last report I had was for February. But as of March, year-over-year sales in the City of Chino were down 27%. That's because of inventory. Values were only down 3%. Okay. Chino Hills was down 26% year-over-year in sales, but their median price was down 12%. And I think that goes back to because a large part of Chino Hills is considered the luxury market. And I think that market took a little bit more of a hit. So it's down a little bit, but those numbers you'll see increase. Take a Diamond Bar. Year-over-year sales were down 35%, but they were up 1% year-over-year on their sales, on their median sales price. So just to kind of put in perspective, these are all great numbers to share as well with people. So, another thing just to touch on, I talked last week about a realtor that I work with that has a listing in Adelanto. So he listed the property for $365. It went live last week. I think it was, actually, I was here last week, so the week before that. He listed at $365. They had 2 offers in the first 24 hours. They had a total of 8 offers, with the highest being $390. This is Adelanto. You're talking 70, 80 miles away from here, how far that is. So, and I know the homes are on the lower price there, but the highest was $390. I'm sorry, the highest was $390. They accepted $385 because the terms were better as far as the appraisal contingency goes. So the seller is willing to buy this home at $385, whether it appraises or not. I mean, the buyer, I'm sorry, the buyer. But 8 offers total, 2 offers in the first 24 hours. So I think that's happening. We're seeing that. So I think that's great information to share as well. Now, I put flyers on everybody's on the tables there. This is a $25,000 seller credit. So we work with one particular lender. They have about $10 million to give away. Okay, so and no, I'm serious. They got this money to give away. It's not for down payment though. It's going to go in the form of a lender credit. Okay, rates are still the same as excuse me, as they would be for any other loan. It can only apply to FHA and conventional, and it's up to $25,000 in closing costs. So you still have to follow the interested party contribution. So if you're putting less than 10% down on a conventional, you can only get 3% from the seller or a lender. So we have up to $25,000 to give based on the amount that we can give based on the down payment. There are income limits, but even those income limits are pretty generous. In San Bernardino and Riverside counties, it's about $174,000. So, and one other thing, the property has to qualify in specific census tracts. So I did one the other day. It was actually in Chino Hills for a buyer, and the census tract, it had to be greater than 50% minority. So you go to a page, you look it up, and this particular tract was 59%. So as long as they fit the income limits and the minority census minority tract, then they can qualify for this money. So last thing, and I was just talking to Kiara about this. I know I saw you reading the Millionaire. So there's another book called Shift. I don't know if any of you have read that. Gary Keller also wrote that book, and that book was made in 2009 after the last crash. So I've been reading that book, and I'm about 2/3 of the way through. Even though the markets are different, that was a crash. We're not in a crash. We're just in a low inventory type of environment. There's no properties. There are a lot of gems in that book. I highly recommend, if you haven't read that book, you need to get the book Shift, because the gems that are in that book could pertain to any market and just help you be a better agent, whether you're working with buyers or sellers. So that's all I have for today. I am going to be here for a little bit for the meeting afterwards for a bit. So if you have any questions on anything mortgage related, just let me know. But I'm perfect to do it. Oh, man.
Reminder, comment. I don't really have questions. Comment would be just on the Shift book. If you haven't read the Shift book or Millionaire Real Estate Agent book, missing out on some gems. David, right? Yeah. What are you picking up from that book as you're going through? I see you got a tab, you got a noted, like he's treated how it should be treated. It's a blueprint.
Yeah.
Right. So like what are you taking away so far?
3 L's, modeling. What else? Thinking a million.
Oh my gosh.
Making sure you're able to think it before you could even earn it. Stuff like that.
We'll just stop right there. So before you can earn it, you gotta be thinking at that level, which is all personal development and focus on your internal self, so your external self experiences what you're believing in. So I mean, I would just say that we're gonna grow our way through this market shift because it's paramount. And I can promise you, there's a lot of agents right now who are just kind of taking it as it comes. It's like, all right, when a client calls me, I'll do business. Otherwise, we'll see how it goes. You choose to make it, you can, as long as your thinking and your activities are in alignment. So Just wanted to share. And by the way, that down payment assistance or, credit program, I just. With the median household income in like San Bernardino County being like 65,000, 70,000, everybody qualifies. In San Bernardino County, just about, man. And so, whether it be Cal Hoffa or any of these programs. Talk to people about these down payment assistance programs. They're people want money. And when you're talking about close to free money or whatever the case is, that's what I call a carrot at the end of the stick. So
And that 25, up to 25,000 truly is free money. It's not a grant, it's not a loan, it basically comes off on the closing statement as a lender credit. That the lender gave you a large credit, and it's just like if you give credit from the seller or anybody else.
now, do you think that's gonna last like 2 days, like the last?
No, so get this. So not a lot of people have access to this bank. Okay, so I think there's about 10 or 12 million, and so far this year, they've only used, I think, 2.5 or 3.
Wow.
So there's still money there. And it literally is free money and it can only apply to closing costs.
And it doesn't matter about occupancy, owner versus.
You had to be owner.
Okay.
It is owner occupancy, yes.
And I'm assuming you can use it to buy down interest rate.
You can.
I mean,
As long as you, so for instance, if you have a $600,000 loan and you're only putting 5% down, the max you can get based on the Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac guidelines on the conventional loan is 3% in seller or lender credit. So that's $18,000. So your closing costs on 600 are probably going to be, let's just say 12, 13,000. So you still have some money there to be able to buy down the rate up to that 18,000. Yeah.
I have a question.
Yes, I'm here.
Is that mean, can you double dip like Cal Hoffa in that program?
No, you can't use the other programs, anything else on this program. This is going to be a straight FHA or conventional first, and you're getting a closing cost credit. Anything else? All right, well, that's.
Oh, last one.
Yeah.
Lakers or Memphis?
You gotta say Lakers just because,
Just
they're in our backyard.
Just checking. I know you got this Memphis blue on.
This happens to be a blue shirt, but that's not defining. So let's not define people's lives. Right, it's a blue suit, okay? I'm just saying, I haven't explained it. But also I wanted to share something about John too. John posts about, what do you about 5 videos a week?
I'm trying, man. I'm falling behind, but I'm doing my best to stay up on the video.
Okay, worst case scenario, he posts about 3 videos a week, right? But he posts these videos on his social media, and if you guys aren't following John, definitely start following John on Instagram, because he's sharing all this information about different loan programs, all these different mortgage hacks, and I know a few of you guys have already started sharing them, and it's starting to create conversations. You know what I mean? People are actually starting to DM you and have other questions. So definitely follow John and start sharing his content, because again, it's going to generate that interest. People are going to start to reach out to you and ask those questions. Then you just have them on John and he'll be able to take care of the rest. So let's give it up one more time for John. All right, perfect. So next, we have our compliance tip with our Chief Compliance Officer, Sandy. And Sandy's actually sharing top 5 MLS violations. John, I'm looking forward to hearing that. I'm reading one of them. I want to do more.
Yeah, tops.
thank you, Pierre and John, for that market update. That's valuable information for you to provide to your clients. So it's wonderful that they hear that. And even that information from John, that would be a great reason to call your buyers. Check into your buyer database. Give them a call, let them know about this great loan program. I mean, here you are, a real estate consultant. What wonderful information to bring to your clients. So maybe John can even help you with doing a flyer together so that you can provide that to your clients. So, tap into these resources that you have. And thank you for those of you that attended the disclosure class. We had a lot of attendees. That's absolutely wonderful. How many of you actually participated in the CR MLS top 5 MLS violations that occurred? Any of you? Okay, fantastic. New information. So this is really important for you to know. We really try to look out for you as an agent to make sure that we're compliant for obviously all of your forms, your broker files, but also for MLS. Before we get started on that, you have a little questionnaire here on your agent survey. This is for next quarter. We did it on the previous quarter, and then we provided classes to support that. Again, these classes are for you. So we really want your feedback on what classes that you need, what can help add value to your business. So please fill that out. If under other, you need to add something that's not on there, please feel free to, whatever it may be. Is it motivation? Is it maybe MLS? Next month, I'm going to actually provide an MLS class. So again, we're here for you. So whatever we can do to help support you. So please fill that out and just leave it for us to pick up would be great. So moving on with regards to the top 5 MLS violations. Not only are these the top 5, but they're 81% of all violations. So it tells you how important these top 5 are. So just to go over with them briefly, we've got the number 1. Number 1 is photos, media, and copyright issues. Again, we're going to take a little deeper dive into each one of these, but I just want to give them to you as highlights. Number 2, no exterior photo. How many times have you guys seen a listing pop up and there's no exterior photo? That's a big no-no. So number 3, inaccurate information. And auto sold. So be careful about that. Number 4, misuse of public remarks. Yeah. And then number 5, failure to correct a violation.
So you did this wrong and you still didn't correct it.
So when you get a violation notice and you fail to correct it within the time frame given on that notice, you will receive another violation. So it does not go away. So we want to make sure that we're handling these things before that. So photo and guidelines, restrictions. You must not contain any brand. That means you cannot have a website, email, phone number, and you cannot have a sign in front of the property. Please be careful of that. Sometimes, you ordered the sign up, you have a photographer coming out, and unfortunately, the sign went up before the photographer went out. Now, some photographers are really good about eliminating signs, which is great, but you got to be careful about that. So be sure not to upload a photo that has a real estate sign on it. Also, make sure that in the photos, you're not uploading a flyer of the property. Oh my goodness. Talk about branding. Now you have all of your information on it, as well as the market center. So be careful about that. Images, and not include people, animals, or any other items that are not related to the listing. So be careful about that. So, some of these things seem pretty minor, but when you get a violation, it's not so minor. And then virtual tours, they must be of the listing. They cannot be of anything else. So be careful about that, especially when you're talking about like communities and things like that. This is just on the listing itself. And they can include any links. So no links to your agent or broker website. The next one that we were talking about is copyright issues. That is actually a federal law. So be careful when it comes to photos. Unless you have taken the photos, you should be getting a what is called a property image agreement signed by a photographer, by the seller, whoever else is providing those images. And they're not only images that you might be using for the MLS, but they might be for flyers for other purposes. Maybe you have it on your website. So be careful when you're using that agreement that is covering all the different marketing that you're including those photos for. So, and again, that property images agreement is a CAR form. It's available for you on zip forms. And be careful to use that one versus one that's being provided by the photographer. Because the ones provided by photographers, they're not as comprehensive to cover everything, and there's some exclusions and things like that. So use the one provided by CAR. They have it there to protect you. Exterior photos. Be sure that those are added within 2 calendar days of putting your listing into the MLS. So that's really important. And it also has to remain on the listing through all statuses, whether it becomes pending, active under contract, even closed. Now that has been a real problem, is agents modifying either information or photos before it goes closed. You can't do that. So be careful of that as well, because sometimes you might have maybe a buyer's agent, buyer wanting to have privacy of not having those photos posted. You can't do that. You can't be eliminating photos before you close it. And that's even if it's canceled with. So be careful of that. It's not just going to close. Content in the photos, obviously, you can't take another MLS photo to use as well, because it will have a watermark. And so be careful not to use MLS photos or Google Street photos of the house, or even an aerial satellite view of the house from Google. With regards to inaccurate information, auto sold is a big problem. So you are fortunately given warnings when your property is coming up based upon your estimated close of escrow that you put in the MLS on when it should be going to close. But if you do not do it within 2 days, it will go into an auto sold within 5 business days of your estimated close of escrow. So, and then it's posted with a red flag because the information has not been verified. So they're wanting to make sure the agent's closing out the listing and making it sold, because that information and data is used by appraisers and other people. So if it has not been verified, it's a big deal for them. So be careful about that. And they're really nice, you know, it's interesting how they give you those notices, you know, it's a courtesy notice when you're going up to the close of escrow date. But if you get onto that close of escrow date and you get that fear that you haven't changed it yet within the 2 days, and again, it's 2 calendar days, then they will send you an actual violation notice, it says in the subject line, and then your heart goes, oh my gosh. Well, that fortunately, if you look into the body of it, is still a courtesy that you only have until today to change it to sold. So the other item, clear cooperation policy, that we talked about in our disclosure class. So you got to be careful that we talked about, you need to have it in the MLS within 2 days. But if you start any marketing to the public, that takes in the clear policy of needing to put it into the MLS within 1 day. So be careful about that. That would even be a sign in the yard. So you can see how these things can happen quite easily, harmlessly. That it's like, oh my gosh, it's just because the sign went out before I got it into the MLS. Well, if you're called on it, if maybe it was an agent that, you know, drove by your property and saw the sign and looked up on the MLS and it's not there, well, they can easily, you know, notify the MLS. You just don't want to get yourself in that position. And then we already talked a little bit the other day about registered and coming soon and active. So as we talked about before, it needs to go into the MLS within 2 days, whether it's registered or in a coming soon. Now, registered is just a notification. That means that you've used an SELM, a seller exclusion of the listing into the MLS. So there's no public marketing. No, it's not even displayed in the MLS. No commissions being offered, no days on the market. And the showings can only be to the listing broker's clients. So be careful about that. That's quite a bit different than a coming soon. Sometimes people get them a little bit confused. A coming soon, on the other hand, means that can do it up to 21 days. It does go into the MLS. And you don't get any days on the market, which is nice because you're getting eyes on the property without getting any days on the market, but it's not syndicated. It's not going out to all those different syndications, whether it's Redfin, Realtor.com, whatever it is. So it has some limitations, but it has some benefits. If you have a client that does not want to show the property, that wants to maybe get some eyes on it before it goes active. Now be careful, once you establish whatever you're going to be doing, maybe it's 2 weeks, you can't extend it. It can be a maximum of 21 days. But if you determine they're going to make it less than that, you can't extend the coming soon to longer than what you've indicated in the MLS. So be careful about that too. The other thing to be careful about is to really educate your seller that no showings can occur. Meaning that if anyone was to knock on their door and say, can I please take a look at your house? I saw it's going to be coming up. Unfortunately, got to advise your client to say no. They cannot allow anyone into that house, or you could be subject to a violation, because that is a requirement of coming soon status. So that goes over our updates for the MLS. Is there any questions that you guys have? Oh, yes.
Yes. So regarding coming soon, that's not considered public exposure, that's right, in terms of the rules. Coming soon.
Well, a good question. So are you talking about that clear cooperation policy that you have? Well, once you're putting it in as a coming soon, you have to do it within the 2 days.
Right.
So you're covered. You're advertising and marketing. If you were to start, let's say day 1, then you have to put it into a coming soon status on day 1. So, just be aware, you have to have it in within 1 day. So just be careful about that in answer to your question. I think that so again, if you do any marketing to the public, get it in within 1 day. So let's just say in my scenario, you put it into the MLS here and you start doing some public marketing. Well, it should be an active or coming soon that same day or within 1 day.
So when you say no modification before closing the photos, right? Meaning like I cannot delete, I cannot add any new photos, or I cannot rearrange for example, the first picture on the MLS.
But they didn't address moving the pictures around, but removing was their concern.
So no
Maybe don't-
deleting, basically.
Correct.
Okay.
Yes.
So I can add or rearrange like the position of the picture.
Correct. Yeah, I don't see an issue with that. They didn't at least address that. So I don't think that's a concern. But also the other thing to be aware of is that they are available almost like 7 days a week by phone, and I think 5 days a week by chat.
So for the removal of the pictures, is that during escrow, or because some clients want pictures removed because they continue to syndicate to Zillow, Redfin, and all of that, and for privacy, they don't want to have their internal of the property exposed?
Yeah, which is a good question because, it's like, okay, what can we remove these photos if you can? But they actually say that we're not supposed to be removing them, period, basically.
Wow.
Removal of photos is not allowed once a listing is placed into any kind of a closed or expired. But I think an argument could be made, it was pending, this photo is removed. Now, whether you're called on it, it would probably be another question. Probably we'd try not to do that. It doesn't specifically say that would be an issue because it's when it's closed out. But you just be careful about that, because if it goes pending, it could be argued that you're trying to just do it before it goes closed. If it's active, that's different. I mean, if you've got a property that's active, maybe you decided that this photo is better than this photo, and you removed that one and you replaced it with another one. Well, that's obviously a little bit different. But if you're trying to prepare for, the removal of photos so that once it gets to a final status, that might be an issue with that, even though they didn't directly address that. But good question. All good questions. I love it.
So we're not allowed to have any showings at all in the coming soon status for our listings?
Correct.
What would be the violation for that?
100,000.
I don't know. Yeah, I don't know what the amount would be. I don't know the answer to that. Yeah,
This is bad for me. Okay,
so if you kind of run into a situation.
I'm going to, yeah.
Well, if you get into where you're going to show a property, then you need to change it as active.
Okay.
So that will cover you. So it's just that, you defeated a little bit of the purpose of going to coming soon because people are kind of getting an idea, okay, so May 1st, it's coming active. So they're kind of waiting, expecting that. So if you go active earlier, you lost maybe some of those eyes.
Yeah.
Unless they're on it. And a lot of people are on it, So, yeah.
Yep.
Well, it's good to have this conversation. See, there's benefit already coming out.
Question regarding the listing procedure, you said 2 calendar days or 2 business days.
For the listing going into the MLS?
Yeah,
Okay, good question. So it's has to be within 2 calendar days.
okay,
Unless you start marketing the property. If you start marketing the property to the public, then it has to be in the MLS within 1 business day.
okay. Based on your information like that, for example, if I read the listing agreement per April 24th, and then they take like 3 or 5 days, April 27th they sign, what would gonna happen after 3 days?
Well, okay, so if you have a lease date that starts April 24th,
Yeah,
but they don't sign it until April 27th,
yeah,
you would want to go ahead and change the list.
okay.
Correct, so you would, if they haven't signed the listing agreement, you're just gonna update your listing agreement to the correct start date.
Okay.
Likewise, let's just say, to go to that question, let's just say that they wanna do May 1st
Yeah,
as the, start date. And let's just say May 1st is about to come and they're not ready. Okay, well, then you can use the modification of terms, the MT form. And do, change the listing to start, let's just say May 5th, whatever it is that when they're ready to go after.
sure,
Yeah,
thank you.
sure.
Now, the 2 calendar days is, once the contract is signed, right?
Within 2 calendar days of the effective list date, which is when the list date is, not when it's signed.
The
So
access
for
date,
instance, in that example that we were talking about, I might have that they signed it now, but I have a list date that starts May 1st on the listing agreement. So I technically have to have it in to the MLS within 2 calendar days of May 1st.
oh, okay, from the active date,
Correct, but
not
not
from the prepared date.
correct, not the prepared date, it's from the actual, in the first paragraph of the listing agreement, you'll have the start and then the
Right, the
end
end date.
date. It's from the, within 2 calendar days of the
Of the
start date.
Got you.
I have a question about coming soon photos. So on coming soon, do you have time to get the photos in there from that before you go live, correct?
So good question, you do have the same as what you would normally have when you load the listing, you can go ahead and put in the photos. But same requirement though, you still have to have the photo in within 2 days of putting it in the MLS. But also realize, this coming soon, if you're using it for marketing purposes, for your client to have the benefit of it. If they're able to have the photos done so that when you're putting it in the coming soon status and it's going out, remember where it's gonna be going out to. It's gonna, when you have a listing in a coming soon status, it's going out to other agents, buyers, that property fits within their search criteria. So it's beneficial to have as many photos as you can because you're trying to, get some eyes onto the property, get some interest and momentum started before you even go active. So hopefully then you're in a multiple offer situation, you're calling me up with questions. So, any other questions? All right, excellent. Okay, thank you guys.
By the way, I just wanted to share, Danny, I think highlighted on a lot, the tactical stuff around being an agent, right? Because the contracts can be a bit extensive or challenging if you're not familiar with them. So you just kind of highlighted the importance of paying attention to those because it can make or break a transaction or your profitability in a transaction. So, you know, spending time in the classes, contracts classes, reviewing them ahead of time. Because the last thing you want to do is to go into an appointment or a meeting or an opportunity and then take a contract incorrectly, and then now you're binded to do something. So like for instance, an example might be what's included in the purchase, right? And so if you have a listing and you don't review the offers carefully, you might bind the sellers to providing a refrigerator, washer, dryer, etc., without even knowing it. And I've being that negotiator on the buyer side, I've caught up listing agents by just adding it because it's a thing that I just do. I want everything, right? And then I add it, and yet, hey, did you know or were you aware what's up with the washer dryer? Oh, well, what do you mean? Well, it's on the contract, right? So if we're not careful in reviewing our offers, then we might have to come up with the cost of a washer dryer, refrigerator, or whatever else might be there. And the purchase contracts have gotten more complex while flexible compared to what they were in the past. So just want to challenge everybody, lean into your mentors, lean into your lead agents, lean into the contracts sessions, because it's really just to help protect not only you, your license, and protect the quality of the relationship with your clients, right? So that way you can call back later and after the closing and say, hey, how's everything going? Or you can have that client that you can never call back because you owe them a washer dryer. Right? I mean, you know.
Still driving to the laundry mart, Brian, but I gave my washer dryer.
Yeah, my washer dryer is 20 years old and we keep it together with duct tape.
We had a loan that closed 2 months ago, where I was working with the buyer, of course. They got $5,000 in credit from the seller. And then they negotiated an additional 5,000 or 3,000 for something else. The seller didn't equate, the agent didn't equate it as being eight or 9,000 and thought they were still only paying 5,000 or 6,000. So between the buyer's agent, the listing agent was actually going to have to make up that difference in her commission. But the buyer's agent kind of said, look, I won't split it with you, but I'll pitch in a little bit to help you, because this is, so basically the buyer's agent kicked in, like, I think it was $1,000 or something, and the other agent had to kick in like 2,000 or 3,000 out of her commission, because she wasn't fully aware of how the contract was set up.
Keep your deal, keep your commission, right? Yep. That's a big part of longevity in this business.
Absolutely. Thank you guys for sharing. And Sandy, watch out for agents. Agents are the people that are actually reporting all these endless violations. It's not the board, it's not the association, it's other agents that are doing this. So definitely make sure you keep sharp, because agents are out there. I mean, especially, you know, you happen to get a listing in their neighborhood. They're like, oh yeah, Tina, you got a cat in your picture, haha. I'm gonna pay that violation. That should have been my listing, not yours. So agents are the ones that are reporting those MLS violations. So awesome, guys. So was this helpful today? Did you guys get a lot of value? All right, perfect. Well, thank you guys for showing up. And Mo, do you have anything to share?
Enjoy the delicious chicken.
By the way, let's give a round of applause for Mo.
Yeah.
And chicken.
Thank you.
All right, guys. Thank you guys for being with us today. Go enjoy some lunch.
All right, we get started at 1 o'clock.